Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. DJ Envy is not here, but our guest was just talking about him. Make some noise for Aida Rodriguez. Damn, am I going to make no noise? God,
wow,
damn.
y'all are
Mercy.
Celebrity whores. I get it. I get it.
Now, Aida is featured in Tiffany Haddish's new Netflix series, Day Ready. It actually premieres today.
Yeah, it
right?
came out at midnight.
Came out at midnight. And you said you met Envy somewhere?
Well, I didn't get to meet him because he was, his security was heavy.
He had security?
Security.
Yeah,
okay, I thought you said that so many people were crowding around him.
Oh, no, just the security.
Oh, got you. All right.
Nobody, just
okay,
security.
got you. So he had security for no reason.
He DJ'd a party. Deion Cole and I did a show there, and then he was there, and I was like, dang.
I want to say hi, but
he had more security than Ayanna Presley had. I was like, dang.
why did he need so much security?
Exactly.
Because of the thirsty women. There was a lot of thirsty women.
Oh, he's got to be careful.
Black men don't cheat, so keeping women away from him. I got you.
I love when y'all say that. That is comedy.
Who's they? No, they say it. Not
I know
y'all.
them. No.
Now, you're a comedian.
I am a stand-up comedian.
What made you want to pursue a life of comedy?
I've always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. Tiffany and I talk a lot about our traumas, and as people of color, we use comedy to heal. And, we had to make fun of the stuff that happened to us. We couldn't afford therapy.
So you and Tiffany Haddish were friends before doing this special?
Absolutely. We've been friends since I started doing stand-up.
Nice.
She's one of my closest friends in comedy and in life, and I love her. I just love her.
Her grind was real, too. So what was it like for you when you first got started in comedy? Because she talks a lot, and we've read her book about how difficult it was. So what were some of the things that you had to go through to get to where you are now?
So because I did not choose to sleep with people to get where I needed to go,
Wow.
I was really hard. Yeah, it's a reality. She was one of the first people that I met who said, don't sleep with any of these comedians. She was like, don't end up on the stage. I had to work really hard. I had to prove myself as a woman of color. I claim my blackness. I'm Afro-Latina. I'm Puerto Rican. And I was very not embraced by the Latin community, not embraced by the white community in comedy. Like, I had to find my own way being who I am because there's never been anything like me before. The Latinos, they try to assimilate into white culture because there's such a penalty for being urban in comedy. But what they don't realize is that all comedy comes from blackness.
Right.
It comes from the hood and it comes from the ghetto, just like fashion and everything else. So I had to work. I had to really work. I worked 6-7 days a week. I was on stage on Thanksgiving. I was on stage on Christmas. Tiffany is my mentor in comedy. I'm older than her. But she was like, we got to grind, no days off. And thanks to her and her teaching me how to get that money, I believe that I've created a career for myself where I don't have to have a day job.
Did a lot of guys try you when you said that she told you don't sleep with anybody? Was it a lot of comics like, yo, I'm just saying, like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, the male comedians, there's a culture of, I'm just going to be honest.
Please.
Like, comedians are... usually the corny people from high school, right? We'd be like the uncool guy that had to learn how to be funny to get girls, right?
Okay.
So then you go into you come into this arena of comedy where the women, it's like just a village of people who found their way through survival through comedy. So now you have women that they perceive to be attractive. And they come at you like, the sexism is real and it's brutal sometimes. It's like, you want to get... I remember a comedian who shall remain nameless said to me, you want to go on the road with me? You got to sleep in my room.
Ugh.
And I was like, I'm good because...
I'll stay home.
You're not even that funny.
Did he mean that in a sexual way?
You said you're not even that funny.
Did he mean that in a sexual way, or was he just broke and could only afford one room?
Oh, no, he was big. He could afford it.
Yeah.
But you know what? He should have paid me to write him some jokes, and it would have been a much better deal.
See, I always wonder about that. So you said he was big, because I'm thinking, like, what does a comedian trying to make it have to offer another comedian trying to make it?
Right. No, he was established.
Yeah.
I would benefit from being on the road with him because people knew who he was. But it's like everybody has that story. I don't feel special for that. A lot of women are like, such and such tried to talk to me. I'm like, such and such tried to talk to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't feel special.
They do. They're on the road.
Shot. It's the percentages.
They're like truckers and baseball players. They're on the road all the time. They're used to sleeping with people.
So should we assume when we see women on the road with guys
No, you shouldn't assume that.
Women don't.
Okay.
No, women. The penalty is different. You can't. People don't ever think about the extra challenges of being a woman in comedy. You have to worry about your safety when you're on the road. It's just different. Dudes don't walk around in a hotel wondering if they're being followed. They're hoping for it.
Oh,
you know
right.
what I mean?
I hope someone's in my room waiting for me when I open that door.
And for me, that's a panic attack.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a very different reality.
Would you ever flip it? Like if you had the power dynamic, would you ever flip it?
Nah, I'm
Why
good.
would you want to do that to somebody and make them feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, some women, I've seen women do it. You know what? I don't operate from that. I think that you got to when you're whole and you feel good about yourself, you don't have to, shit on other people.
Now, you've had to do stand-up during times of your life that were very difficult, where you were going through periods that you were grieving.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Is that really therapeutic for you? Or is it something that you're like, I just have to push through?
It was hard, and you know what I think about being a comedian and having a certain level of privilege and making a living doing what I do. There are people who have to go and clean other people's houses when they lose somebody, and they gotta go work, and they don't have the option to walk away, which is what made me say I can't not work and do my comedy because my grandmother passed away. There are people who don't have that option. My aunt had to go to work when her, mother passed away. So it was really hard. It was cathartic. And I'll tell you that our stories need to be told as people of color. I think it's very important for us to use our platforms. My uncle was murdered in a hate crime. He was Puerto Rican. He was gay. He was killed for being gay. And for me, like, I was like, I got to go out there and I gotta represent for him. His death could not be in vain. My job just happens to be that I have to make people laugh.
And it's part of the healing process.
Yeah.
For you, for yourself.
Yes. And I want to commend you for always encouraging Black men, as the mother of a Black man, to heal and to seek mental wellness, because I think that we underestimate how important that is for our communities to really, heal. It's
Absolutely. Thank you. I think it's necessary. Now, how do you find humor in that, though? Because I'm reading, like, your grandmother and uncle kidnapped you from your mother?
Yeah, they did. From here. When I do my hour, I'm going to do it in the Bronx. That's where I got kidnapped from. But
why did they kidnap you?
Because my mother was dating a killer, a murderer, that was on the FBI's most wanted list.
What?
And they had to kidnap me, or if not, they could have turned him in. Then my mom would go to jail because she was with him. So they had two options.
So they saved you, technically.
Yeah, they were. They did. They saved me. They did. They cut all my hair off. It was a real kidnap. It was very traumatic.
Wait, so they kidnapped you and, like, changed your identity?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Did your mom come looking for you or anything?
She didn't, because if she would have come look for me, she was going to go to jail, because my grandmother was going to turn them in. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you miss your mom during that time? Like,
of course. No matter how whack your mama is, you always want her. You seen the movies. You saw Losing Isaiah.
Did y'all ever reconcile?
We did. We're good. I love my mom. My mom was young. My mom, we are 3 generations of teenage pregnancy cases. Like, that's how we do it in my family.
You said that's how we do it.
So yeah.
Who broke that cycle?
My daughter.
Okay.
My daughter. Yeah. My daughter is a college graduate.
Wow.
And no babies. And so far, her traumas are minimal. I'm sure she has her own, but not like ours.
What did you instill in her? Like, what did you tell her to make her say, I can't be nothing like my 3 previous generations?
I guess living in that truck made her say, I don't want to do this when I grow up. We were homeless. But I just...
How old was she then?
They were little, when they were younger. What I did with my kids was just show up. And, I didn't beat my kids, because I really feel like that comes from the traumas that when we were infiltrated as people of color, the people who beat us and instilled in us to beat our children don't beat their own children.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? So I was not going to do that to my kids. But I just really wanted to build self-worth into them, really explain to my kids that they come from kings and queens. Because I used to put Hotep audio tapes on my kids so that they can listen to. And they have a king and queen complex, because I was like, before we were slaves, because Puerto Ricans were slaves too, we were kings and queens. And it's very important to teach your children their history, because it really reflects their future.
When did you realize that this was going to be something that was sustainable, doing comedy and actually being able to make a good living off of that? Because I know it's not an easy business to break into.
I don't know if I'm there yet. You know, it's still, comedy is so unpredictable. And with the internet, the dynamics have changed so much as to what being a successful comedian is versus being a great comedian.
Oh, you're right.
You know what I mean? And so you have to be, I don't know. What I do know is that right now I'm okay. And what I do is invest my money properly so that I can be okay. Because the entertainment business is a wild card. And you have to be able to take care of yourself. You can't be dependent on it because it will kill you if you really have to rely on that entertainment business.
So when Tiffany calls you to do this special, because she handpicked everybody in this special, what were your initial thoughts?
You know, when she called me, it was like a year and a half before we did it. And it was when she was just launched into superstardom. And she was already thinking about other people. And I was like, you busy right now. Like, I didn't think she was going to be able to do it when she said she was going to do it because she was so busy and so tired, only slept in the bed 30-something days in a year. And I was like, you know, I was so thankful. And I said, baby, I love you and I appreciate it. But I just, when it will happen when it happens. And I will say this about Tiffany Haddish, and I have to say it. She took a pay cut for us, and it was a substantial pay cut, to create a platform for 6 people that she cared about, that she believed in and respected as comedians. And I'll tell you this, you hear about all those deals on Netflix every day, 90 million, 50 million, 70 million, and you never hear anybody take anybody with them. She didn't get a fraction of that. And she still took a pay cut and took 5 people of color with her, 1 transgender woman and a white woman that comes from a lower income life, and said, I'm taking y'all with me. So if you want to give somebody props, you give somebody props for doing that, because you don't hear that about the $50 million deals. And this is not me trying to take shots at anybody. It's just the truth. Right. She took a pay cut, and she made nowhere near what.
Has she told this story yet?
She and I talked about it, but she's very quiet about it.
And see, that's the thing. Like, you know, during that whole Monique situation, I guess maybe Netflix was trying to prove a point, but Tiff was like, "Nope, I want this platform and able to put my people on." Yeah, and they gave it to her.
Yeah, you know, and with respect to Monique, I really feel that Monique deserves a certain level of respect, and when a woman of color speaks out, they're gonna always call us angry, and they're gonna always say that we are. I mean, I don't know if the way she handled it might have been the best way for her, but I was not gonna shit on Monique, because I really believe that Monique put it in, and she paved the way for so many of us. So I did the Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam. I did the last
one. You were a finalist.
I did the last taping for Showtime. I was the only Latin person to ever tape the Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam. She was on it. She paved the way for somebody like me, because Latino comedians who are successful are not throwing the rope back to me, because I claim my blackness. It was Shaquille O'Neal, it's Tiffany Haddish, it's Wanda Sykes. Those are the people who've created a way for me. And so I would be remiss to say, you know, whatever. But with regards to Monique, I do believe Monique is worthy of it all. And I'm never going to hate on her for that.
What did Wanda do for you in your
Wanda
career?
put me on Last Comic Standing, and Wanda produced this special that I just did with Tiffany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Wanda was.
Love that link up.
Yeah, she was at my shows. She walked me through my set. I want you to do this. I want you to go that. I want you to act that joke out. I want you to put. She was there the night before I taped at the Improv with me and doing D-Ray's show, giving me notes.
Is it a lot more pressure when you have people like that who believe in you, when you have the Tiffany Haddishes, the Wanda Sykes that believe in you in that way? Is it a lot more pressure?
Yeah, I was gonna put everything I could into this, because 2 Black women who are marginalized in this business put their names on the line for me.
Who did you look up to as a comic when you were coming up?
Oh, Richard Pryor was and George Carlin are my 2 favorite comics. But Richard Pryor was my first introduction to comedy. Did a joke about his dog, and I was little, and I was like, I want to do that. And my mom was like, if you do that, nobody will ever marry you. And then I ended up getting divorced anyway. And I was like, I shouldn't have listened to that bitch. She married, she was chasing the killer. Like, what am I doing listening to her? But it was.
Did they find the guy? Did he go to jail?
He did go to jail. Yeah, he's dead. He died, but he went to prison. I mean, yeah, he went to prison.
What's funny about your circumstances?
Everything. I mean, it's all about how you look at life. I had a rough life, but so did a lot of other people, and we like to get so caught up in being. We love victimization, and we walk around saying, "This happened to me. This happened to a lot of people." 1 out of 3 young black girls and brown girls are sexually abused, and we sit around saying, "I got molested." So did a lot of other people. As people of color, one of our ways to heal and to deal with things is to make fun of it. We do the dozens. That's how we cope. And I rather do that than, drugs and over-sexualize myself.
I agree with you. And I mean, but nowadays they say, oh, you're being insensitive. Like you're so insensitive. I'm 41 years old. That's all I knew was growing up teasing everybody for everything. And I used to get the same type of treatment.
Yeah, you know what is the sensitivity and the outrage culture sometimes can be ridiculous. What it does is it displaces what needs to really be addressed in terms of what's insensitive and what's wrong. And the minute that you have people trying to jump, there's so many people trying to jump on the struggle train right now, right? So everybody is now marginalized. Like white women are like, they want to be in the intersectional conversation. The reality of it is that no, you're not. When I'm so angry right now about what's going on with the immigrants. Like, a lot of people are very anti-immigrant. They're like, people of color are like, what about, they come in here. Louis Farrakhan is a child of an immigrant. He's a Caribbean, just like me. I have more in common with
Garvey.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
I have more in common with Louis Farrakhan than some people in Alabama. And they're like, that these people are coming here because this belongs to us all. I'm not anti-immigrant. What I will say, while I have a platform, is to my Latinos. If we want people to be upset about those babies in cages, then we need to be just as angry about Tamir Rice. That is how we create the bonds, and that is how we create solidarity, and that's how we flip the table over. So for me as a Latin woman, it's just as important to me that those babies get out of the cages, as well as the little black babies that are in cages that have been in cages for years, as part of the big play to hold us down.
Are they calling you to be on like the CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world? I feel like your voice is needed on those platforms.
Well, I do the Young Turks.
Oh, the Young Turks. I like the Young Turks.
Yeah, they like you too. They
really?
like you guys. Yeah. The Young Turks are really they really are about what they say they are about, and that's why I love them. That's why Ayana knew who I was, because I bang really hard for people of color on
They seem like good white people over there.
They're not white.
They not?
No, Cenk is Turkish. Anna is Armenian. He's the main guy.
Oh no! I don't know what Turkish is.
He's from Turkey.
I'm stupid.
No, you're not.
I didn't go to college. I graduated in night school.
You know what? You're the epitome
of
it.
White people to me. I don't know.
He doesn't look white.
I'm thinking of the girl.
Anna. Well, Anna is. Anna's white, but she's Armenian though.
Like Kim
like
Kardashian's
the Kardashians.
Armenian. Right, there you go.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so they see the world from a marginalized standpoint.
But they also acknowledge their privilege and are very vocal about issues that have to do with us.
I think that's the main thing. Like, we all have to use our respective privileges to combat prejudice. Men got to use our privileges, men, to help women. Straight people got to use their privileges, straight people to help gay people. Whites got to use their privileges, white people to help black people, and so on and so on.
And gay people got to use their privilege to help women. And I was like, I talk about it in my special. I said, we don't need pepper spray. We just need to walk around with gay dudes that are strong and are willing to sodomize somebody on our behalf.
Can't wait to watch this goddamn
He got so excited. Charlamagne perked up.
Oh, yeah. I go there always.
What can people expect from the special?
They can expect me telling my truth. I focused on my life and my family and where I came from. I'm from the gutter. I grew up in Miami, Florida, between Miami and the Bronx. My mother lives in the heart of Liberty City. And when people talk about comedy, a lot of times they like to say, they sell ghetto. Oh, they're ghetto. We don't want to. Everybody deserves a voice in comedy. Yep. I come from the ghetto. I'm everything I am because the ghetto loved me. They stacked themselves up to get me out of the hood, and they deserve the respect and I'm going to give it to them every single time I touch the mic. I come from people who don't speak proper English. I come from drug dealers. I come from drug addicts. And those are the most beautiful people on the planet.
That's
and
true.
every opportunity I have, I'm going to honor them. And that's what you see in my special.
And it just came out at midnight. So have you been looking at the responses and what people are saying? So because we haven't had it, we came to work, so we haven't had a chance to see it yet. So I'm excited to watch it. But what has the response been like?
It's been very positive. A lot of Puerto Ricans have been reaching out because I'm the only Puerto Rican on Netflix doing stand-up. There are only 3 Latinos doing stand-up in the originals. It's me, Cristela, and Fluffy. So, Puerto Rico needs a morale boost right now. Like, just because we're not trending doesn't mean we're not hurting. We've had the government over, the hurricane, the poverty, and they're trying to colonize Puerto Rico for the 3rd time. It was colonized by Spain, then the United States, and now the United States is trying to recolonize my island. So I wanted to give my people a voice, and they are responding.
I think America needed to look at what happened in Puerto Rico, because I think that, eventually we're going to need some type of cultural revolution, a counter-revolution, like happened in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I agree.
It's a great example of what can happen when people come together and decide that it has to be a change.
And that's what we need to be doing, especially with our dollars, because we like to spread videos on the internet and make things go viral about racism, but we keep putting the money into the pockets and to the companies who are really oppressing us. Because Becky at the barbecue can't keep me from buying a house, but we put money into the corporations who are funding white supremacy to this day. So for me, that's what I want to use my voice for. And for me, I just happen to be able to write a joke about it. But I think it's so important to remember who is really holding us down and holding us back. I don't care about those dumbass videos.
Did Netflix give you any feedback on jokes that they said were too edgy for you to use?
They cut my abortion joke out.
Could you tell us right now?
No, because I went in I was really trying to talk about the self-hate and the anti-blackness that lives within the Latino culture, because I think we got to really face that, right?
Would you like to stand to really tell the jokes?
No, I tell it right now,
Okay.
better, because my joke is, I don't tell jokes, I just tell my business. So I said I have some family members that were very religious. They were very Jesus-oriented, and they were anti-abortion until I got pregnant from a black dude. And then they became pro-abortion in the name of Jesus. They were like, he'll forgive you. And it's the truth. And I was like, wow.
Why'd they cut that?
Because nobody wants to piss anybody off anymore, and it's just.
They care about pissing off the black community?
You know
Oh,
what?
that more so for the Jesus-loving people?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's we got to keep it real.
hypocrisy.
Right? The hypocrisy in the religion, and my mom, because I had this joke about when black dudes become Muslim, they start saying that they don't say they're Muslim. They were like, I'm Muslim. They're like, I'm Muslim. So my ex used to say that to my mom, and my mom made a pork chop to test them, and he was like, I'm sorry, I don't eat that. I'm Muslim, and she was like, este no come puerco, pero come bollo, which is he don't eat pork, but he eats pussy. And she was very, very, she was like, ooh, he's very Muslim. Like my mom used to clown him. So yeah, it was, for me, my platform is about what I want to use it for is to create unity, black and brown unity. I think we're stronger together. We can't ignore the struggles of any of the people. And we're all just the result of who raped our great grandmothers.
That's it.
And we got to learn to just love each other.
That's why I say when it comes to those kids in cages, like, yo, you got to care about that, because who's going to be in those cages next?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Also, because they're just human beings. They're little innocent children. It's just crazy.
But it might be fun to wait it out until it's the white people's turn.
No, for real.
Because they next, the poor white people next.
Absolutely. And they don't understand that. Why do they think this guy cares about them?
Oh, man, because they want to identify with upward mobility. They really want to. And he's also emboldening in them the things that they've been, the insecurities that feed their poverty and their lack.
And they want to feel like they're better than a group of people.
Everybody needs somebody to make them feel better about themselves. You like, he's coming. And the funny thing is that the distraction, we're so caught up with immigration. Remember when they did the swine flu? Mm-hmm. Swine flu was a distraction because an election was coming up. And they were like, Mexicans are bringing swine flu. And then an election came, and then nobody ever heard about swine flu
at
again.
all.
Right.
It's all a game, man. And it's just, unfortunate that we fought for it.
You gonna vote in 2020?
I vote all the time.
All right.
Yeah,
You
I
got
vote
a candidate you like?
I like Elizabeth Warren.
Okay.
I really think that she's got all the answers. I like Bernie Sanders. You know, I like Kamala. I think Kamala has been held to a higher standard because she's a woman of color, and all of them have had problems with, you know, with their issues with when it comes to Black people, the Democrats and the Republicans alike. But we seem to demonize her more. Mm-hmm. I met her. I liked her. She's charismatic. She's powerful, and I think she could actually win. And I'm never gonna shit on family in front of the company. So I'm gonna always ride for her.
All right.
There we go.
Well, listen, Tiffany Haddish's new Netflix series, They Ready, is available right now. And Aida Rodriguez has her own set. What is it, 45 minutes?
30.
30 minutes? Yeah. 30-minute set. So
well, I can't wait
we
to
can watch that
this.
tonight.
Y'all better.
No, I am. I'm definitely in.
Thank you.
What can they follow you on Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff?
Funny Aida, AIDA, that's on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook. Aida.Rodriguez, the haters, the white supremacists that hate me took over one of my Facebook pages.
What?
Really?
Yeah, they come
hacked
from
you?
me. Yeah, I be going in though.
Wow. Well, that's good. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
What'd they say once they hacked you? What'd they do?
They threaten me. They try to dox my address, you know, all that craziness.
Yikes.
Yeah.
A head dog will holler, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, keep speaking truth to power, Aida.
Appreciate it.
It's The Breakfast Club.